Final hour on a Friday morning. Peter Boyle's in for the fellas. 710 KNUS, December the 26th, 2025. Friday morning weather, 65 will be the high today, 38 tonight, 61 on Saturday, 23, and then it comes. 29 will be all we get on Sunday, 1 to 3 inches of snow, and 6 degrees on Sunday night. All right, final hour of the show, wide open lines, and put a lot of work into this one, but I think it is, and again, because of the guest has been so well done, it was almost 30 years ago today, 29 years ago exactly, Patsy Ramsey claimed she found the ransom note, 3 pages long. 303-696-1971, your thoughts. Patty Calhoun was here, followed by Alan Pendergast, and we talked about the story. And again, I think the case that they make, and others have made as well, this was a PR war. This was a powerful who is in charge and who got to call the shots and everything that came with it, and all the people that we met and all the people that we knew. And most significantly of all of the issues around this great killing, the sadness of the killing of JonBenet Ramsey, the grand jury voted to indict her parents, both of her parents, and no charges ever came out of it. After the speculation, no suspect arrested, but the Boulder County District Attorney, Alex Hunter, who passed away just recently, convened a grand jury in 1998. And the grand jurors met for 13 months. Incredible. To hear testimony from I don't know who, because remember, they're grand juries. As Mark Crowley was with us in the first hour talking about it. And when it was said and done, the grand jury voted to indict the parents. And the news that news never came to light until a member of that jury spoke with Charlie Brennan of the Boulder Daily Camera and said, hey, we wanted to get them both. The news never came out. After more than a decade, the district attorney declined to file charges. What do you do with all of that? 303-696-1971. And twice already this morning, I read the note. But even Mark Crowley, who was a cop all those years on the job, Mark had never really read the note. Most people just, knew there was a ransom note. But I want you to listen to the note. And I brought it in this morning. I want you to listen to it and listen to the absurdity of it and listen to what these people were saying. Now, this is the lead-off, the note that Patsy allegedly said she came downstairs to make coffee, and on this spiral staircase was the note. 29 years ago, I guess right about now. And it says, Mr. Ramsey. It's addressed, it isn't to the both of them, so that's a giveaway that she, in fact, wrote it. She wrote it to her husband. Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We are a group of individuals. Now imagine if you, again, back it away, Peter. If you see ransom notes, legit ransom notes, people cut things out of the paper. They're 2 sentences long. There's not an address to Mr. like dear folks or anything like that. It's just it's less than 2 or 3 sentences that this is the deal. This is where you drop off the money, game over. This goes, Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We are a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. We do respect your business, but not the country that it serves. At this time, we have your daughter in our possession. She is safe and unharmed, If you want to see her in 1997, you must follow these instructions to the letter. You will withdraw $118,000 from your account. Now, stop there, Peter, interject this. That was the bonus money that he was paid from Access Graphics. $100,000 will be in $100 bills, and the remaining $18,000 in 20s. Make sure you bring an adequate size attaché, and again, she puts the French mark on attaché, to the bank. When you get home, you will put the money in a brown paper bag. I will call you between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow to instruct you on delivery. The delivery will be exhausting, so I advise you to be rested. If we monitor you getting the money early, we might call you early to arrange an earlier delivery of the money and hence earlier pickup of your daughter. Any deviation from my instructions will result in the immediate execution of your daughter. You will also be denied her remains for proper burial. The two gentlemen watching over your daughter do not particularly like you, so I would advise you to not to provoke them. Speaking to anyone about your situation, such as the police, FBI, etc., will result in your daughter being beheaded. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. If you alert bank authorities, she dies. If the money is in any way marked or tampered with, she dies. But be warned that we are familiar with law enforcement countermeasures and tactics. You stand a 99% chance of killing your daughter if you try to outsmart us. Follow our instructions, and you will stand a 100% chance of getting her back. You and your family are under constant scrutiny, as well as the authorities. Don't try to grow a brain, John. You're not the only fat cat around, so we don't think that killing will be difficult. Don't underestimate us, John. Use that good Southern common sense of yours. It's up to you now, John. Victory, SBTC. We go to, here we go, Mike in Wheat Ridge. Hey, Mike, you're on the radio show. Thanks and good morning.
Hey, Peter. Nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Pleasure.
Worked with Mark for many years, retired Denver cop. I've talked to you many times over the years about this case, the Kennedy assassination. Mark said it so well in the first hour. This is just crime scene 101. I agree with you. With the witnesses, we lost Tom Haney this year, and of course Tom interviewed Patsy and got to the real Patsy, as you well know, when he interviewed her, and you got to see what a real investigator from VPD would have done with Patsy, instead of the softball interviews that they got done with her, because Mark said it best. And what would have happened in a real police investigation is that house would have been sealed up. They would have been separated. They'd have been taken downtown. That house would have been sealed up. They'd have been separated. Even if they lawyered up, it wouldn't have mattered, because
their first lawyer was hired before sundown on the 26th. The next day, they had Hal Haddon as their lawyer, and he's a powerful player in Democratic politics in Colorado. And I don't know what role he played, but when it got down to it, and I've really pondered this for a long time, when Alex Hunter, who was, again, elected official, a Democrat, would not indict them when the grand jury wanted to, and there seemed to be a string of very, very, very wealthy people involved in this case. And whatever it was, or whatever it wasn't, they never got indicted. And
well, ponder this, Peter, and I've pondered this too. I was working in the crime lab when this murder occurred, and was there when the offer was made. I told you this before. The only thing that Victor wanted was the alternative light source. That's it. And Mashad wouldn't send that up. He said, no, we'll send it up with the team. We're not going to send that up. We'll send you a crime lab team. We'll send you detectives because you're out of your league with this. This is a complicated.
I had talked to Dave Mashad, and he offered his murder squad. And
right. It would have been John Priest or one of the top guys.
They told Boulder told them no. We don't want you to come. There was we called it the Junior G-Man. The FBI has something called a civilian academy, and if you get asked to go, you go. I think it was Wednesday nights. We went for 8 straight Wednesday nights, and they had different people that would lecture. There was a bunch of people from the city, all civilians, that were invited, and I was invited, and I attended. And so they did different guys, counterfeiters, and that kind of stuff. And we got to the kidnapping part of it, and there were 2 feds teaching it, and I put my hand up. I said, "Can I ask you?" And they said, "What?" I said, "About the Ramseys." And this guy looked at me. He was an FBI agent. He said, "That ain't no whodunit." And that was it. That was it. That was it. He said it. That ain't no whodunit.
Absolutely. And here's the thing to ponder, Peter. Okay, so they have Hal Haddon. I don't care if they'd have had the dream team as their lawyers. Here's the thing to ponder. A grand jury voted to indict them. So I don't care who they'd have had. If you'd have presented this case to a jury, the jury would have voted to convict.
Oh, sure.
Because if you'd have done a proper
Michael, then why did Alex Hunter keep them out of the fire? I agree with you.
Because he was afraid of the political influence, I believe, or, I don't know what Alex, because on his deathbed, he said he was fine with the decision. How could you be? How could you look at that little girl as a human being and say that you were fine with letting a murderer go free? And people that are texting now and say, well, it's trial by talk show host. No, it's not. No. This is about the murder of a 6-year-old. Like Mark said perfectly earlier, this isn't about, when you walk onto a crime scene, Mark, me, anybody, this is about that little girl. That's all it's about. This is about the little girl. It's not about Patsy or John or Burke or anybody else. It's about that little girl.
But during that time, and Bill Owens was governor, we were friends, and I was writing for Bill Owens. I would write wrap-up pieces because he would appear on national shows. And he said, I remember so well, he told the Ramseys, quit hiding behind your attorneys and quit hiding behind your PR firm. That was Bill Owens. That was really good stuff.
Right.
And
that's your girl.
So then what?
I don't know. I often, like many cops, like Mark, anybody else, you see murder, and I saw every kind of murder there was, both in the crime lab as a cop for 30 years. But when a parent murders a child, that's got to be the most despicable act on the face of this planet. Because how do you murder your own child? We just saw it recently in the Ryder case. How do you cut your own parent's throat?
That's why. Yes, no. The Reiners right now And that came up last night in conversation. And they apparently had well over 20 years of trouble with him. And
Right.
and one night it came home. That was
and they're the first ones to be these kind of people, and not to criticize anybody, but they didn't deserve that. But here's the thing: they're the kind of people that will say, "Well, but we can't institutionalize people. We can't warehouse people. Some people, I'm sorry, have to be institutionalized because they can't function in society. I'm sorry, they can't." Because they're too chronically mentally ill to function. I'm sorry. I'd like for them to be out, but they can't be. But when you kill your child, okay, it's different as a parent. You're a parent. I'm a parent. How do you murder your child? Because I do believe that person that saw Patsy chasing her down the hall, I believe that she struck her with the flashlight because she was enraged for her bedwetting. That's my belief. I'll believe it till I take my last breath.
I talked about it and Pendergast apparently also spoke with Richard Krugman, who at the time was running the Kemp Center. Kemp had retired, and Richard Krugman had the job. I sat in his office. I mean, I think he was a tremendous physician. He was a great administrator, and we talked about it. He said, parents kill their kids all the time. I mean, and I don't mean to say that in a lightweight fashion, but he said it's not new. And look at the parents the fathers who molest their daughters or molest their sons or whatever it takes. He said this goes on much. There's much more of this that goes on than what we know or what's reported, and we didn't talk about children killing their parents, but more. And he said, it takes place, and Kemp was one of the first people to point it out. Well, the accidental death I was mentioning, Susan Smith. I remember she put her kids in the car and rolled the car into the lake and killed them so she could go off with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend didn't want the kids, so what the hell, she killed him. And Carol McKinley and I met the sheriff that, I say broke her down. I don't know if that's the right words or right terms, but she confessed. She killed her kids to go off with her boyfriend.
And I sat there with my ex-wife, and I told my ex-wife when I'm sitting there watching her emotional press conference about the alleged black man that did it. I said to my ex, I said, you know what? She did it. And she said, oh, no way. I said, our mother wouldn't do that. I said, she did it.
She did
I said, you watch. She did.
Yep.
And I said, look at it. It's an act. Just like when Patsy said, mothers, hold your baby's teeth. There's a killer.
She was so high.
She did this.
Of course.
Yeah. I said, she did this. It's an act. And I said, and I argued with my ex-wife. My ex-wife said, I really believe Patsy. I said, don't believe her.
No.
It's all an act.
Indeed. And then
thank you.
One of the worst things that happened, but laughable because there were people that thought, oh, here it is, John Mark Carr. And when Michael Tracy, who groomed him, the people that were involved in Mary Keenan Lacey, the district attorney who cleared Burke and then wrote these letters clearing Patsy. John Mark Carr is arrested in Bangkok, and he made this false confession that he murdered the little girl. And
what a fruit loop.
He was getting he was getting boobs installed in Bangkok. They called him the lady man, and
what a fruit
he claimed that he drugged her and he sexually assaulted her, and then quote accidentally killed her. And we interviewed.
Well, and then the Lou Smith and all his theories. I'm not going to diswell him because the guy was he was really a good homicide investigator. But I'm sorry.
But
Lou,
all the champions, the Paula Woodward, and they rushed to put this man on their shields as they walked him in, and he had this confession. And then we found his ex-wife and put her on the show with us on KHOW, and she said, John's never even been in Colorado. And then we find out that Michael Tracy, again, how he keeps that job is beyond me, teaches up at CU. You could hear him grooming Carr on those tapes. And the claim that Jean Monnet was mugged or that put doubt on the confession because the autopsy said, look, there were no drugs in her body. And furthermore, Carr's DNA did not match anything. And but he was a Michael Tracy manufactured Frankenstein. And Michael Tracy words do not describe Michael Tracy, but he keeps his job, and there he is. And so all these different characters show up and say things and do things, and I don't know. It's
and the other thing too about Crime Scene 101 is also, Pete. I mean, really and truly. I mean, when you go to a jury, it's also when you're doing the neighborhood survey.
Yeah.
When you hear the neighbors, I mean, it's really when you go to a jury, juries like to hear things like,
well,
the neighbor sees a light on at 3 a.m.
Yeah, but
they like hearing that they heard a kid scream. Yeah. Those things resonate with juries, and the things that you point out.
Can you imagine?
Because they'd have tore that note to pieces.
Could you imagine Patsy Ramsey being cross-examined by not Alex Hunter, but a really good prosecutor?
Oh, take 2 of our top prosecutors. Take a Chuck Lepley, a Norm Early, a Lamar Sims. Yeah. You take our top 3 DAs at that, at that junction. You take one of them. You take a Lamar Sims, who's probably one of the top.
Actually, yeah, I know all of those guys. But
you know them all. You take those guys and let her. Well, just like I said, you knew Tom Haney well. You saw him on videotape. You saw what Tom did.
Yeah.
Tom ripped her he got to the real Patsy. He ripped the mask off, and she came across that table.
Ooh.
You got to see the Patsy that John Bonet saw that night. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Thanks for your call, man. It was a good call.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year, man. Thank you. All right, everybody. 303-696-1971. Good morning. 29 years ago, where were you? 29 years ago, Patsy claimed that she found the ransom note, 3-page long ransom note, just read it. It is so bizarre. And that we were off to see the wizard. I'm back here tomorrow following John Caldera at 9 o'clock, and I got a couple of shows next week filling in for the fellows. But this is, this, and I think what Pendergast was saying and what Patty Calhoun said, this was a story of how the media handled stories. And what made it, I think, so amazing were the people who sold their souls to get involved in this. Channel 9 was absolutely horrible. The Rocky Mountain News was competitively horrible. Individual people, radio people, and it was very, very sad. Are we close to a pause, or do you want to take the call? I'll take the. All right, we'll come back with the calls. 65 the high today, 61 on Saturday, but then boom, Sunday, 29 will be the high. This is Radio Free Denver, good old 710 KNUS.
Another unseasonably warm day for Denver in the Front Range before we see finally a little bit of winter head our way as we get into late tomorrow and Sunday. Temperatures will be climbing into the low to mid 60s today. Lows tonight, upper 30s. Increasingly cloudy, a little cooler, upper 50s Saturday. Saturday night and the Sunday morning turning sharply colder. We're going to see a chance of light snow developing with lows teens and 20s, highs only upper 20s to near 30 Sunday with a chance of light snow early in the day. Accumulations will be light, but some accumulations possible. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Morning, everybody, on a Friday. Peter Boyle, 710 KNUS, December the 26th. It was these 29 years ago this morning. Patsy Ramsey claims she finds the ransom note. There was a fellow by the name of Don Reggae who we became wonderful friends, and we formed a corporation. I think someone called me a media whore because of this story, and so I glommed onto it, and we formed something called Media Whore Productions. We did parody songs on the Ramseys, and here's a medley. I will point out what we were what Don was singing about, and what we were again attempting to present. If you would, Adam, hit the button.
Dispatched a young lieutenant, still wet behind her ears.
Remember, hang down your head, John.
Bungled the first few hours.
Hang down your head, John Ramsey.
Bonded with the suspect in tears. Bow, bow. Hang down your head, Tom Kobe. Hang down your head and sob.
See?
Hang down your head, Tom Kobe.
Now that's
Make this look like we're not involved.
This was about the ransom note.
Make sure this case is never solved. Pass the note around, then move out of town. They can't prove
Love it.
we wrote the letter.
That's him.
They can't prove we wrote the letter.
I miss him.
Tower to runway number 2. Mr. Ramsey, you're cleared for takeoff. Have a pleasant journey.
Did it. I missed Don Reggae, and Don was the real power behind Media Whore. I would come up with songs, and I'd write some choruses, and I'd call him up, and he lived in Boulder, and I'd say, I got an idea, Donnie, and he would produce the song. So to Don and to his families, so well, again, what a talent, so missed. Let's go back to the phones. This is Ron in Denver. Hey, man, good morning. Welcome to the show. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. It's always a pleasure to hear you take on the hard, challenging questions.
You're kind.
Man, I was a 12-year-old here in Denver, and my father verbally, sexually, physically beat the crap out of his kids. And at 12 years old, I went up against the therapist because he said, I need to forgive my father. He won't do it again. So as I became a teenager, the great Marilyn Vanderburg came out. And I thought there was some light at the end of the tunnel. They're not going to let kids be abused anymore.
Let's stop, because what we need to do is explain to people who Marilyn, and I still see her. She was Colorado's Miss America.
Miss America, I want to say about 58, 59. Her dad was a very prominent businessman.
No, her dad was didn't they have mortuaries?
Mortuaries, yeah. And I don't think people believed her, because all that could never happen.
There were people, these powerful businessmen in Denver that were friends. He was dead when she came out.
Right,
and
right.
She said,
and then,
yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
She basically said, he molested me.
Yes.
And when you said this morning it could never happen in Boulder, I thought, the hell it can't.
Oh, of course.
And it does. So I remember so clearly having a 6-year-old son. My ex-wife put him through the baby pageant program about the same time as John Bonet. And they just all seemed like scabs to me because they were sensationalizing their children.
Oh.
So, long story short, I'm sitting there looking at my daughter and my young son thinking, John Bonet knew her killer. He just had to know her killer. Her mom seemed so ice cold and everything. Now, Pete, I put together the whole child abuse package because we forget when we think about John Bonet. There was a little girl named Allie Bareilles that was killed, kidnapped, literally physically removed and kidnapped. And her grandpa would show up on TV all the time.
I know him very well. Yeah.
A great man, great man. And you could see the passion. And it was, I want to say, within that same year of John Bonet's death.
Well, first of all, remember, he got the hound dogs. He started that program.
Exactly.
And
because those dogs found his granddaughter's body.
That's absolutely true, yes.
But what we also forget is little Jacob McKnight that was kidnapped a block from where I lived at the time.
Yes.
And that poor baby's body was just butchered beyond belief.
I brought this one up. Aaron A. Thompson. The Aurora PD put on a clinic. There was the guy's name was Aaron Thompson. The live-in girlfriend, her name was Shelley Lowe. And there was a little girl that they didn't even know she had disappeared until the welfare people came checking on her, and she was gone. And they said, they started to tell lies, and the Aurora PD put on a clinic. Shelley Lowe is dead. She died, and Aaron is in the penitentiary. And it was so similar because Jean Bonnet's name is a French Francophile combination of John Bennett Ramsey. And so Patsy or John or whomever, that's Patsy, made this name Jean Bonnet. Aaron Thompson, they took and they manufactured another name, Aaron A. That's a knockoff of Aaron. So the similarities, but the Thompsons were African American, and what was done was they shut it down and they did everything absolutely correct, and of course that little girl's body was never found, and the belief was that they took her and they rolled. Listen, and it's horrible, but they rolled her up in a old rug, and there was a 7-Eleven with a big dumpster close to their house, and they put that little girl in the dumpster, and that's where her body went to wherever all the trash goes. And
Heather Church in Colorado Springs and Chris Abeda. And Pete, this is what just breaks my soul. Who the hell in their right mind, any man worth their salt, why are they asking for the Epstein files to be released? To me, it makes me want to throw up in my socks. Let's stop and think about the victims.
Yeah, but
say Paula Wood.
I'm sorry,
but we're so worried about Bill Clinton and whoever's name might be in there. Screw them. What about the children? What about the victims
if I could
that
stop
were brutalized?
I'm going to do that show tomorrow at 9, but the part that I've seen overwhelming is the women who, as young women, i.e. girls, they want this release. They want their perps. They want what happened to them. They want to catch those men. They want those men exposed. And that's my take on what I've watched.
And I'll go to bat for them 100%. But it's the media that doesn't give a blankety blank about the victims. They just don't project that. It's like, who can we? Oh my God, the victims. I want to hear more about the victims.
But
how can we help them recover?
If you look, well, I understand that, but if you look at those, and I've seen them in groups together, and they want names named. They want you and I to know who did what to them and how and why. And that's what I've witnessed. And there was another on Christmas Eve, there was another documents dump. And by tomorrow, maybe we'll know more. But I planned on doing that show tomorrow on the 9 o'clock show. I mean, I think there's a lot of people hiding, right? A lot of men.
Oh yeah.
And you're right. Your point's well taken. That, and one of the things that happened after the killing of Jean Bonnet, and I would get these people that would say to me, "Well, no parent would do that," and the answer was, "Of course there are. There's many, there's many of them." And you're speaking about it, and the one I remember most was the woman who put her children in the water and drowned them in the car so she could run off with her boyfriend.
And Peter, you just have great talent of touching the untouchables when you mentioned your Sugars and Players.
Players and Sugar.
The guy that he just wanted to relax a little bit. He's got a plumbing truck, and he gets popped harder than the guy that's running the city or might be running the city.
There was somebody over the Christmas holiday that we had this conversation about Players and Sugar. Who was it? I'm trying to remember, but it was somebody that was a media significant, and I said that I didn't name, and not that I could have, but I knew more than one name, and I've told that story before. The city of Denver was cracking down on motorcycle pipes, loud pipes, principally really because of one bar, and I got a couple of VU meters. And we were testing Denver cop bikes, and they were about average in terms of noise with regular guys that are riding motorcycles. But anyhow, so the fabulous Festel brothers, and they were just wonderful. And we were testing pipes at Freedom Harley Davidson that now has become Avalanche Harley Davidson. And I was doing some work for them, and we set up a system to test everybody's pipes. There must have been, I forget how many bikes were there, and everybody's all lined up, and and it's kind of a semi-cold Saturday morning, and a big Mercedes pulled up, and a guy got out, had all the way the floor coat, the drill, and it was like I had no idea why, all my outlaw friends are there, and then this guy gets out of the car, and I knew the guy, I knew him well. And I was going through a divorce and that I didn't want, and it was horrible. And he put his arm around me. He said, "Walk with me." And we started walking towards the city, and he said, "I'm on the list." And I knew his wife, and I knew his kids. And at that point, no thanks. I didn't want to hurt any more people, but that's a true story. Ronnie, I just tell you, Happy New Year, man. I'm coming up on time for a break. Go ahead.
And I just want to say we really have to stop the talk and be more active to protect the kids. Pete, we got, 30,000 kids missing that came across the border.
Absolutely.
We know damn well where they're at. We just got to go find them.
Take care of yourself.
Hey,
Happy New Year, brother.
You too, brother. I'll hear you tomorrow.
Thank you. Right back after this. Stay here, 710 KNUS. Coming up on time. Morning, everybody. It's really gone fast, and thank you all. It's a Friday morning. I'm Peter Boyles, in for Billy and in for Jeffy, and guys will be back. I'll do tomorrow at 9, and then first part of next week, a couple of fill-in shows as well. The weather's going to turn, and that's good. We really do need the moisture. It's on Sunday, 1 to 3 inches of snow. I'll be back here tomorrow and pick it up at 9 o'clock. To Alan Pendergast and Patty Calhoun, thank you very much. And also to Adam, who did one whale of a job. It was these, and Mark Crowley, thank you very much as well. It is 29 years, and it was hard for me to really get a handle on this, and I thought, we'll come back and take a look at what did happen and why. And the show worked very well. I thank you all. You're going to hear a lot about it next day or two because of the anniversary of this killing, and I don't know who will pick it up, who will do what. It almost at this point doesn't matter. But remember, and anytime you talk to family members, you meet somebody outside of Colorado that brings up the Ramseys, remember this. This is so significant. The grand jury voted to indict her, and Alex Hunter did not pull the pin. And there was no suspect arrested after this brutal killing. The Boulder County District Attorney convened a grand jury in 98, and I think some of the pressure came from the governor's office. The grand jurors met for over 13 months to hear testimony from law enforcement, civilians, and others, but they saw and heard everything. The grand jury voted to indict the parents on charges, and the news never came to light. We never heard that until more than 10 years. I mean, that fellow who was on the ground, I'm assuming a man, it could have been a woman, the person who came out from behind the wall and spoke with Charlie Brennan and with the Boulder Daily Camera. And after more than 10 years, told the truth about the DA refusing. And at the same time, District Attorney Alex Hunter said there was, when finally confronted. What's interesting to me is I remember him so well standing in that big parking lot full of cameras, and he never said, by the way, the grand jury wants to indict them, but I'm saying no. It remained a secret for such a long time, and eventually the existence of what they did becomes known. And back in 99, the grand jury, did what it did. But more than a decade after her death, a grand juror comes out and says, look what we really wanted to do. John, of course, Patsy's gone. John's John. The players in all of this seem to be the Paula Woodwards, the Rocky Mountain Newses, those others. They seem to play that game, and they attempted to come back and make a comeback at Crime Con with Hal Haddon on the dais with them. And it's like this moment, and you go, haven't you any shame? I mean, the grasp of the obvious, but haven't you people really gotten your hands on the truth, or has anything even seeped into the edges of your mind that maybe these people actually did it? And then Stephen Singular, who is just, he is no longer with us, did this ridiculous book about it as well. So there's enough players out there, and now we come to an end. But that was a hell of a ride, and the radio show was much a part of it, and I always felt bad for that little kid. I really did. Did she ever have a chance with a mother like that? I don't know. There were a lot of text messages this morning, and to all of you, thank you very much. And that is it. So I will see you tomorrow at 9 following John Caldera. Adam Walker, what a great job you did. Thank you very much. It was a difficult show for me to put together, but for you to listen to it, thank you so much. I'll see you at 9 after John. Take care of yourselves, everybody. 65 will be the high.